Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 7th episode for The Walking Dead Season 9. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts first on The Walking Dead ratings holding strong, even without Rick. And spoiler warning, of course, as usual, if you guys are not caught up for The Walking Dead, which is up to The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 6. So Episode 7 coming up this Sunday, Stradivarius, and then Evolution the week after that. And then we're done for the first half. The first half of The Walking Dead Season 9 is over, and we have to wait until next year to see the back half. Continuing along, of course, without Rick, right? So this is one that we had been kind of anticipating to see for quite a while. Wanting to know how many people would want to come back and continue to watch The Walking Dead after Rick was gone. Would it basically die right away? Would people, continue to watch with about the same amount of people watching? And so far, it's only one episode, but so far, the ratings were pretty much exactly the same. The ratings for Episode 5, Rick's last episode, was 5.41, and for Episode 6, the first episode without Rick, it was 5.4. So literally pretty much exactly the same. 0.1 or 0.01 difference between the two, right? So it's pretty much on par. And that's basically been this season where we've been at since the premiere. The premiere was at 6.08, then they went to about 5. These are US viewers, and then it stayed around there, went up a little bit with Rick's final episode with people wanting to see that. But not as much as you'd think, and then also it's staying basically the same for the episode after. Now, will that stay the same? Will that hold for the series? I hope so. I hope going forward that The Walking Dead will be able to maintain its sort of hardcore fan base. I mean, I can't think of really what else would be on Sunday nights that people would want to watch over Walking Dead right now. I mean, there's lots of different series on, and there's Netflix, so you can watch certain shows at any point in time as you want to. But I can't think of anything that's on Sunday nights in that same kind of time slot that would really challenge The Walking Dead or that people would prefer to watch. So really, it's kind of like a... if they stop watching it, it's probably because they're going to go do something else. It's probably not because they're going to watch another show or something, right? So I'm happy to hear that so far. Now, will that hold going forward with this week coming up with the next episode and then the mid-season finale? I still would predict that I think it'd probably go down a little bit from that because the Episode 6 promotion at the end of Episode 5 was really good. Them showing Judith and all the other stuff in the time skip and kind of letting people know. And they did the promotion at the end of Episode 5 where it was like, in the next 3 episodes. So you got to see some of the coolest stuff from all 3 of them, the Whisper stuff and everything like that. So with all of that, it basically held. So after Episode 5, it sounds like nobody plug pulled or nobody basically decided that it was GG and quit, right? So that's good. They decided, okay, I'll come back and try to do this stuff, try this out after the time skip with Michonne and everybody else, and after the 6 years, and see how it is. Now, after this episode, Episode 7, also be interested to see if that's going to continue, or if people just came back because they were intrigued by the whole Judith idea and everything like this, and hopefully getting to see the rest of our characters there, getting to see all the new things they're doing with it, bring in the Whispers as villains will keep at least that same amount of viewership watching the series going on forward. I don't think there's any guarantee right now that's going to happen, but when they did the poll back in May, about half of the respondents, it was a small sample size, but about half of them pretty much said they would stop watching The Walking Dead after Rick. And at least so far for the first episode, I'm happy to report that that's not the case. Half of the audience didn't leave after Rick, was killed off in his final, or left in his final episode, and that they've actually pretty much everybody has come back to at least see what they have afterwards. Now, after that, I think the quality of the show will probably determine going on further as, maybe TV ratings continue to kind of slowly decline a little bit. But it should be enough, I think, to hold The Walking Dead strong and keep it going for at least a few more years while they do some of the other stuff like the movies and Fear and all the other stuff that they've got going on. So overall, I think this is good news. I'm happy to hear it. And yeah, man, it's great. Walking Dead holding strong even without Rick. Who would have thought? But of course, we'll check back on it if anything changes. So we'll do some Q&A questions for today, and I'd like to do at least one more this week. So if you guys have any other questions after today, send them to me through the comment comment section in this video, and I'll add them to a list, and we'll go ahead and go through them. And no offense if I don't pick anybody's questions in particular. When The Walking Dead is on, see, during the time The Walking Dead is not on, I don't get that many questions, so pretty much I can grab almost everybody's questions and answer at least one for everybody. Please don't get offended if I don't grab your questions while The Walking Dead is on. Sometimes within a couple days there could be 400 or 500 questions, and I literally have to work both those days, so I can only grab out of 400 or something, I can only grab 10 or 20 for us to go over. So that's just how it is. So don't be offended if I don't pick your questions. It's not because I don't like you or something. It's just because there's so many coming through that we only get a certain amount of time for each one to pick, right? Cole Ratcliff says, do you think anybody truly embraced Rick's ideals, or that after his death, basically, did it change anybody 6 years later, and Michonne is instantly hostile to a new group? Carol is still slaughtering people that might not deserve it. I don't know about that, if I agree with that one. I kind of think that Jed deserved it. I mean, he's been doing this shit for a long time, right? And we're led to believe that he had been doing this to other people from the joint surviving communities, for maybe quite a while as well, too, even though we didn't see it on screen. Then he says here, Daryl has shut himself off from civilization, and they mention the fair is an effort to try to bring the communities back together. Literally, like everything Rick was fighting against. Was Rick's noble sacrifice to protect and bring the communities together so tragic and heartbreaking for the characters that they weren't really able to grow and evolve along the path Rick envisioned? So that's a really good point from Cole. It's true. That's what I think a lot of us had predicted. If you guys saw my videos when we were seeing that happen before this episode, I would have thought that Rick doing what he did, giving his life, sacrificing himself to try to bring everybody together, including the Saviors, including, all the different communities, the Oceanside Saviors, Hilltop, Kingdom, Alexandria. Him giving his life, I thought, would make him a martyr, in that everybody, in a good way though, everybody would want to have the communities come together. Everybody would want the communities to thrive, and even the Saviors, even the, the worst Savior would be like, wow, Rick sacrificed himself in order to do this. But I guess because it didn't work, maybe he set an example in the other kind of way, where ultimately he had to go to the thing that he didn't want to destroy. He had to go to the bridge and destroy the bridge, and it still basically died in the process. So I guess, in a way, unfortunately, as tragic as it is, like you're saying here, Cole, I think you're right that unfortunately, in the reality of it, even though it would make sense that because of his intentions and him giving his life to try, so far as they know, not so far as we know, but so far as they know, to bring the communities together, and it still didn't work. Unfortunately, they still didn't come together. It still didn't work. You have the Saviors who basically, they couldn't figure things out when they're not keeping people down, when they're not, using the Hilltop for food and just basically bullying them into giving up to them. When they had to actually do it on their own, they couldn't. They folded. They basically didn't have a strong leader there. They didn't have somebody there that could really bring them together in a good way, where they could go out and they could maybe, because part of it is maybe if the place you're living in doesn't work, you use it as an outpost, and you go somewhere else where it will work. You go somewhere else where you can either find food, grow food, do something, serve a purpose for trade, do something. But literally, the Saviors just capsized in the TV series version, which is also different from the comic series version. The comic series version, they actually did stay, somewhat, and sometimes they had some trouble with Rick and the others, but they were able to stay at the sanctuary. They were able to stay there. So we're led to believe at this time that basically the sanctuary has pretty much disbanded and has basically shut down, that it didn't work for the Saviors at all. And some of them, it looks like Laura, for example, went to Alexandria. So some of them were, which does make sense, that if they're a troubled group, you split them up and you give certain people to different communities to keep a close eye on, right? That makes sense. That definitely makes sense for some of the good ones. But, of course, for the bad ones, they're not going to fit in. They're going to be exiled or killed, or whatever happens to them can make it on the road. But you're right, 100%. Unfortunately, in the end, what Rick did not accomplish what he wanted it to accomplish. And there's some questions. The X on the back of Michonne, we don't know what that's all about. We don't know if that is I don't know. Something happened to her. Some people have brought up kind of maybe not a conspiracy theory, but a theory that maybe RJ is not Rick's or something like this. Maybe the Saviors attacked her or something and raped her or something. I don't know. So that would be dark, super dark direction for The Walking Dead to go in. But it would kind of make sense in a way, I guess. We'll have to see how that goes and how that plays out. But I prefer it just to be simply Rick's. But there's the X there, and I don't know what it means. So you guys can leave a comment below. Let me know what you think the X means on Michonne's back and where they're going with this whole thing. But yeah, great comment from Cole. And unfortunately, Rick tried everything to bring people together. And I don't know. I'm still not convinced that Negan is wrong and that actually works in the real life either. Maybe in periods of abundance, but in scarcity periods, I don't actually think it does work. In scarcity periods, which is a lot of what The Walking Dead is all about, people are not that good to each other. War breaks out like crazy. As soon as scarcity comes in, with enough scarcity, war breaks out. All these things happen, and people are at each other, right? If they're fighting, it's just like animals, right? If you throw one piece of meat in a cage and you've got a lion and a bear, it doesn't take too long for them to start fighting over the food. Before you know it, the lion's on the bear, and who's going to win? I don't know. I think it depends on the lion and the bear, right? So, Kerry Thomas says, "Hey, Trev Q&A, do you think RJ is even real? No one else interacted with him, and we've seen a lot of Michonne talking to Rick who wasn't there. What are your thoughts?" So that's a good point. I took it as understanding and think it was, because the thing is about it, though, is that Magna does see him with her, right? But I get what you're saying with the last scene where you have Judith kind of on the stairs, and then you have him who he comes running in and she kind of, picks him up and everything. But it felt disjointed. However, Magna did see her with him, so... we'll have to see more scenes with it. I just thought that at the end of the episode, it's something that they probably should have in that final scene showed him, focused on a little bit more so we could get a look at him and everything like that. We could see what he's going to look like and everything, because it's like another Carl or Judith. So it's important for us to get a read or get an idea of what, what the character's going to be important of what they look like or anything, right? So, yeah. Hey, K. Keller says, "Hey, Trev, for your next video, I got good news. Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride signed a 3-year deal with AMC, which means we got season 12 of The Walking Dead. Not necessarily because it's a guaranteed contract. I've given my thoughts on this one already, and that means that they get paid regardless. So whatever they do with Walking Dead, they get paid guaranteed. So, of course, we know AMC is in it to win it. They're in it for the long haul for Walking Dead. At least they said 10 years or another 10 years or whatever. So that brings us up to pretty much season 20 or 19. So we know that AMC is down. So I'm happy to hear that, and we'll hope nothing changes and The Walking Dead can continue on strong for many years to come. And I'm happy to hear that Melissa McBride and Norman Reedus are at least down for a few more years. That's great to hear, and I'm happy to hear that. But it's not a season renewal. It's not an exact confirmation for sure, 100%. Alpha Miez, it just means they get paid regardless. Alpha Miez says, "I don't care anymore. Thanks for all your videos, Trev, but I'll see myself out." So he's done. He's taking his ball and he's going home. So no problem, Alpha. I get it. That's cool. But the Whispers going to be good. Okay, so I'm just letting you know, man. The Whispers look good. I'm excited to see the Whispers, and it's cool. It's cool. But I want to see some more Whispers in the Scream. So it's just me, and I know maybe it's not as good without Rick, and you want to see Rick there, and it's got a void. I know, but at least it's better than nothing. Ethan Humphreys says, "Surprised me how good this was." So opposite, response from Alpha Miez. One says that they're done, they're taking the ball and going home. The other one says, "I actually am surprised by how good this turned out." So I'm happy to hear that. Right. Mike HTV says, "There's no need to make a theory about this. The only reason all of this happened is because of the reasons outside the story. If Andrew Lincoln didn't want to leave, he obviously still would be with the group." So of the question of why doesn't Rick return in the 6 years, Mike HTV is basically saying that it's fourth wall, it's meta, it's maybe not meta, maybe that's not the right word. It's the story is changing because of what's happening outside of the story. And that's true. That usually you'd want the creative to drive what happens in the real life. So which actors you get, which characters, who you get to play which character. You want the story to drive, the creative to drive who you actually get in terms of, and what you have happen with the cast. Unfortunately, sometimes it goes the other way. Sometimes you get people who opt out, like in this case with the TV series version, and Andrew Lincoln, it didn't work out, so he's going to be doing the movies. So he's opting out of that. Now they have to change the creative to make that work, so to make that fit with the TV series. So instead of them writing it out first, they basically have to adhere to him and kind of do the movie and do this other stuff and have it make sense that he didn't return. So they have to implant that in the creative because of the real world ramifications of the contracts, right? So again, there's more to this than just a writer writing a comic book and whatever they can imagine, pretty much the artist can draw and can make happen. It's different when you have real people playing the characters involved, and sometimes you have to go the other way. Is that annoying to kind of see? Probably, because you want it to go the other way where the story drives what happens exactly, and everything is best done for the story. But sometimes that's not, when you get the real people involved in the real world, it doesn't work that way. So you have to go the other way sometimes, and unfortunately they have to do that. Is that something that they could prevent? No, and nobody could. So it's just it is what it is. If you don't like it, then well, there's lots of things that I don't like going to the dentist, but I go. You know what I mean? So you got to, maybe it's not as painful as a root canal, but sometimes you got to do it. You got to do what you got to do. Flexi Felix says, Trev, isn't it crazy to think about that Daryl? Daryl has known Aaron longer than he knew Rick. It's honestly crazy to think about. Yeah, I agree with you, Flex. It's crazy to think that Aaron or Daryl would have spent, because he's on his own, so maybe you can kind of argue that maybe he didn't stay at Alexandria that long. But it's crazy to think that someone like Michonne or some of the others would have spent more time together. Like if you think of Laura joining Alexandria within a year after that whole thing happened, and at least being there for 5 years. That's longer. She spent more time with Michonne and the others than Rick ever did in terms of chronological hours, right? In days. That's kind of crazy to think about, but that's what a 6-year time skip does. That's what it does. C. Benny 7 said, show is weird now. Not sure what I'm watching. Feels like a different show, just like Fear the Walking Dead. Do a ratings video when the ratings come out. So this was it for you, C. Benny. That's what it is, and it's certainly different, and we have to be open-minded to it. The shows are going to change, and they want them to continue for a long time, and I'm happy with that. So in that time period, you're going to see different, like the show is going to be totally different at certain points than it used to be. In the next few episodes and this year going forward, this is a totally different show than what we were watching back in season 5 or 6 or before that. Like it's not even recognizable. It's totally unrecognizable, as the actor who played Taka said about Fear the Walking Dead. The same now basically applies to The Walking Dead, where you don't have Rick, you don't have Carl, you don't have a lot of these characters, Sasha and some of the others. You have some of the other ones that are still recognizable, but most of them aren't. Maggie, Glenn, all the others. So that'll be it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about all of those questions. How are you feeling about the series right now? Are you excited for this weekend still? Are you excited for the series going forward still? Where are you at? Let me know. Leave your comments below. And thank you guys all for subscribing. I appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. You guys are the best. Thanks for all the support and continuing to support the channel. Thanks for sending your questions. And again, like I said, please nobody get offended if I don't pick your questions. It's just how it goes. If you keep asking, eventually, I guarantee you, I can pretty much get at least one from all of you, pretty much, because not that many people comment. So, not in compared to 230,000, there's only a certain amount that comment. So a lot of them, you're going to get picked eventually, but I can't always guarantee that you will. If you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. If you're new and you want to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. You can do it. Bottom left is subscribe. Except for this one. See you guys again soon for another Walking Dead video. It's Trev saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.